Well, good evening, chat. How's everybody doing today? I tell you, if you're a Sony pony, you're probably not doing as good as you could be doing. I got to tell you, those prices. Oh, Sony sisters, make it stop. Make it stop, guys. But anyway, on my way to the liquor cabinet, I found a hell of a good guest. Phil1UpCollects is here with me. And Phil, say hi to everybody.
Everybody, I'm guessing you can see me. I got my webcam on. Y'all probably wondering why it's blue.
Yeah, I can see you a little bit. Now, I saw in a picture you posted you were a violet shade. And I think I asked you at the time, did the Oompa Loompas, are the Oompa Loompas able to do the job or anything like that and get you de-blueberried? But looks like no, you've just turned a different shade of blueberry. So instead of the violet variety, you are now the blue variety. So what's going on, man? What's the blue color about?
I'm kind of blue, and the reason why is because Sony doing these bullshit prices. It got me so blue. It got me so blue. Blue. I'm Smurf color now. That's Sony.
You're one of the ponies affected by this. Oh, I'm so sorry.
I've become a Sony pony. I'm so blue.
I'm so sorry. Oh. Well, I'll tell you, if friendship was magic, Sony, gotta tell you, they absolutely flunked their course. I'll tell you.
Yeah.
What fucking?
I think this is this rainbow color is much better, and the reason why is because y'all remember back in the PS1 when Sony had that rainbow color logo back when they weren't complete bullshit and they actually did some cool games and they had cool first party titles, and then it rolled over to the PS2 and it was still awesome, and then PS3 it started to dip, and PS4, man, things are just like PS Plus bullshit. Like, I'm telling you,
that's the fucking Hindenburg. I'll tell you, it's you know, and it's funny you mention that because I'm actually, like, the chat will be a little familiar with this, but I'm actually not familiar with this decline, and because I actually never onboarded to Sony, and it's not anything against Sony. Sony has effectively proven they can successfully market and sell a video game console, so it's nothing against them personally. It's just that I have a certain perspective that and it was more Nintendo's fault than Sony's. Sony just took Nintendo's market from him, but it took Nintendo to make me a non-gamer for decades. But what's funny about that is because I missed all that, I missed the success of the PlayStation coming in and taking that market share from everybody, taking everybody's dollars. I missed the DVD player, the rise of the DVD player to become the single most successful piece of entertainment of all time.
Was such a good that's such a good thing. It's like, oh, I can get me a DVD player and a PS2. Perfect selling factor.
Oh, man. My God. Like, again, I say that with only a little bit of malice, but with great respect as a businessman, because holy shit. You got to look at the time. You got to look at the time when the PlayStation 2 came out. There were the only DVD players you could buy were $300, $400, some of them. And then
before that, it was like rich people were the only one with DVD players, just like the rich people were the only one with VHS players in the beginning. So it's like, I think back then, DVD players were like $1,000 when they first launched, and only the rich people had it. And then now it's like you couldn't even get somebody to take one of those.
Right. That's what I'm saying. Nowadays, it's easy to take that for granted, but Sony honestly was a disruptive. The PlayStation 2 was a disruptive product. Not only does it play video games, but it's the cheapest DVD player on the market, and it blew that market wide open, and for the consumers. Not only did it benefit Sony because the DVD player sold to everybody, but it also benefited Hollywood movies because now they had mass market customers pouring in, and they made additional revenue from their movies by selling DVDs. And DVDs, of course, were sold at the time much more expensive than VHS tapes, which were being outdated and replaced. So, yeah, it was that disruptive product. The PlayStation 2, the definition of disruption is a quote unquote crappy product for a quote unquote crappy customer. Now, that doesn't mean the product's crappy or the customer's crappy. What it means is from the perspective of the larger industry targeting, like, for example, the DVD market. They targeted people that were money bags. Yeah, they were targeting Daddy Warbucks with that DVD player. Whereas Sony comes in and says, no, we're going to sell this. We're going to sell our DVD player to everybody. And there's also a video game device attached. And so the crappy product, so in terms of what all these high-end DVD players, they would look at it and, oh, what is that? That they didn't like the Sony DVD player. They thought it was low end, but nobody else gave a shit. They're just glad they had one in their house. And so I admire it and I respect it. Even as somebody who's barely ever broached into Sony hardware territory, I respect the hell out of the DVD player. And I will also make the point, I was actually telling OJ in our last talk, because he was talking about, well, the Switch is going to catch the DVD player. I don't know if it's going to, because if you look at the macroeconomic trends as well, the DVD player came out in the early 2000s. There's a lot of population growth there. So yeah, it sold 155 million. Sure, but if you adjust for population growth, you probably need around 210 million consoles to top the DVD player. Now, another thing comes into play there as well. The Switch is a hybrid console. Switch is both a handheld and a portable, and they've merged both their markets into one. So do we count PlayStation portables as well? I don't know. I think that's fair.
That's a good point.
So if you add the PlayStation portables that were sold to the DVD player that was sold, so you have 155 million DVD players. You have, I don't even know how many PlayStation portables, but if you combine the two of those and then adjust for macroeconomics, Switch ain't catching that. There's no way the Switch is catching that. But it's important. It's an important context. Now, Nintendo is going to catch the DVD player, and I think they're going to crow about being the number one selling system ever. But it's important to add that context that you're comparing a system with the population that we have in 2023 to a system that sold 155 million units with 2001, 2002's population. It's a very important distinction.
You notice how throughout the years in the history and games and video game market, how everything just happened at the right time. Like Nintendo came in when like people were so sick of gaming over here. Like they didn't want arcades, they didn't want the ColecoVision, the MalecoVision, the PolecoVision, whatever else was going to come out. Like they were so done with that. They were so done. People were ready to throw them in the garbage cans. And here comes Nintendo, a card company, and they're like, "It's me, I'm Mario," and everybody's like, "Yahoo!" And they ride that damn train to the bank. And it's been a massive success for them. I almost wonder what could have happened if Sony and Nintendo would have actually came out with that partnership where Sony was going to give them the disc drive. Like, oh my gosh, I want to be in a parallel world where that happened and what we could have had. Like, could you imagine, like, maybe all the stuff that Sony has would be like on Nintendo consoles now, and you would have like the best of everything. All Nintendo stuff, all Sony stuff on one platform. Microsoft would have just been like, damn, I'm not even going to try. Damn.
Well,
just like
had that happened, Microsoft might not even been in the picture. So let's wind the clock.
I know. They probably would have looked at it and been like, no, they're like Disney right now. No, thank you.
Well, there would have been no need. Yeah, there would have been no need for Microsoft to do what they did. Because if you look at it, let's wind back the clock. It's actually the biggest mistake Yamauchi ever did. There's two big mistakes that I pin on Yamauchi, who is one of the absolute world beaters in terms of like executive leadership. If you ever get a chance to study that guy, that's a mean old man, but that's a mean old man right after my heart. That guy was an incredible leader for Nintendo, but he made two mistakes. He made two fatal mistakes. The first is that he allowed the relationship with Square Enix to become sundered. He was so hurt that they were going to go that route because they didn't like the route that the N64 cartridge not allowing to make their cinematic movie games. And so they took their ball and they left, and he was so hurt by that, he told them, don't ever come back. Literally told them that. And that was a huge prideful thing that, not good. The second mistake he made was, and again, it was part of that peripheral race with Sega. So Sega had the Sega CD, and Nintendo said, well, we're not going to jump down the peripheral rabbit hole that Ted Kalinske had Sega of America going down with that. What we're going to do instead is we're going to develop a brand new CD-based system. And so they partnered with everybody. Had a partnership with Philips to look at it, and the Philips is who they actually chose for the weird CDI thing that was a fucking disaster. That was a butter and ham disaster from hell. But in walking away from Sony, they left Sony with a huge sunk cost. They just walked away cold turkey from Sony. So now think about it. You're Sony. You're Ken Kataragi. And Ken Kataragi's like, nah, fuck that. We basically got this thing. So we've got a sunk cost. Let's see what we can do with this. Now, there's probably more to it than that, because most people here have heard of the sunk cost fallacy. You don't just chase bad money. If the money's bad and it's going to lead to further loss, you have to know when to walk away from a bad deal. But there was something in that concept that Sony was able to greenlight at the higher levels with Oga. And Oga said, yeah, let's do this. And the end result was the PlayStation. Now, let's go to what you're saying about Microsoft. Over time, you have the PlayStation, and then you have the DVD player. I almost called it by name. Then, now, after the DVD player and the massive success of it, you have the PlayStation 3, which was Ken Kataragi's baby. And what did Ken Kataragi come out of the gate and say with the PlayStation 2 all the way into the PlayStation 3? He said that the PlayStation 3 will basically be a computer. And he was talking at the time about Sony getting into the PC gaming space. Now, this scared the shit out of Microsoft. Now, all of a sudden, you understand, okay, because a lot of people say, why the fuck is Microsoft here? Why are they here? Why are they in this space? That's why they're in the space, Phil. They're in the space because it's a shield initiative to protect them from Sony moving upstream into PC gaming and potentially into PC hardware. Now, all of a sudden, Windows is at risk. Now, all of a sudden, that PC gaming space is at risk. Microsoft couldn't allow that. And so they preempted it by fighting Sony on their turf. They moved downstream into console gaming. And I would say that they've largely met all of their goals. They've met all their aims. Sony now operates almost like a Microsoft clone in some ways. Sony has abandoned the idea of the software sells the hardware. The Yamauchi wisdom of the hardware is the box we buy to get to Mario. That shit's been abandoned. Now it's money bag deals, and it's PlayStation Plus cloud gaming, and it's
we can talk about that.
$170 fucking online, and they operate just like
or how about a $500 or is it $600 PlayStation VR 2 bullshit that you need the console in order to play, so that's about $1,000, and then let's factor in the 4K TV to have it at the best specs, and then you're going to have another solid-state drive because the one they give you is so dinky, it's like $800. You can't store more than one Call of Duty on that damn thing before it's used up. So, and now some kind of weird ass like peripheral that should be the Vita 2, but it's not the Vita 2, and it connects to your damn phone. Like, what the hell is going on? And now what do we got? $79.99 USD for the basic yearly PlayStation Plus. You got $134.99 for the extra, and then you got $159.99 for the premium.
So Player Essence, Player Essence has a good post up here talking about the PlayStation ecosystem, and you'll notice a pattern begin to emerge. So he says, PlayStation.
You mean the PlayStation Shitto system?
Shitto system, yeah, so whatever, yeah. The PlayStation quick run, we got their money system. Like, so PlayStation's current ecosystem: PlayStation 5, $400 to $500. PSVR 2, $550. PS Portable, $200. PlayStation Pulse Elite headset, $150. PS Pulse Explore earbuds, $200. PlayStation Plus, either $80, $135, or $160. First party game, $70 MSRP. So what is going on here?
Trying to rape everybody's wallet, and while Sony ponies are just like, thank you so much, it feels so good, woo! And I'm like, no, just stop, like, no, oh god.
So
I
actually
have okay, go ahead.
I have a theory of what's going on here. It's not one a lot of folks are going to like, because this seems blatantly anti-consumer. And let me just go ahead and clarify my stance. It is.
Yeah, I think I pointed that out in my video pretty damn well.
Yeah, and that video is actually why I wanted to have you on, is right to get into this, because
dude,
if you haven't seen this video from Phil1Up, it's a banger. It's an absolute banger of a video in terms of just excoriating the PlayStation 2. So what I'm going to try to, or PlayStation 5. Sorry, I'm still thinking about the DVD player in the good times. But
at this point, the damn PlayStation 2 is worth investing in more than the PS5. At least it's a lot damn cheaper. Well, unless you start buying expensive PS2
and so
games.
I'm going to try to play. I'm going to fail miserably. But I'm going to try to play devil's advocate here, and I'm going to try to explain what the fuck is going on in Lion Crying Jim Ryan's head. Okay? So let's look at the market.
By the way, when you said crying Jim Ryan, that is literally an emote in my server. He's crying, it's his face, and then he's got like a binky, a Hello Kitty binky in his mouth. So join the Discord server and spam that in the damn chat.
Yeah, and actually, if you want chat, go ahead and press S. Let's press S to spit on Sony's corporate leadership. S in the chat's to spit on them. But to play devil's advocate, I'm gonna pretend to be lying, crying Jim Ryan for a second here. So I'm lying and I'm crying, but I'm also looking at the way the global economy is going. Okay, and really, we're left with two choices. Anytime you deal with customers in global economies, you're left with two choices. The first choice is to disrupt and make that quote unquote crappy product for the crappy customer and move downstream. Again, not that y'all are crappy. It's that from the perspective of the high tier industry, they see me, the Switch owner, is that crappy customer. And they see the Switch as that crappy product for me, that crappy customer. That's how the high end folks see it. So disruption takes that lens that, the best disruptive product is the quote unquote crappy product for the crappy customer. Sony, we can wad that up and throw that out. Sony is not doing that. So you can move upstream into the blue ocean, into the mass market, or you can move further downstream to those whales, and you can whale hunt. Now let's take a look at the global economy that Lion Crying's looking at. Okay. So Lion looks at that market and he says, holy shit, this is bad. You've got money and market manipulation all over the world going on right now, just to prop up economies. You've got part shortages that that have stabilized a little bit, but haven't completely stabilized. You've got a market that, quite frankly, does not look like it's going to be recovering anytime soon anywhere in the world. You're even starting to see some trouble emerging in markets like China and India even now. So if I'm crying, what the fuck am I going to do about this? So one of the things you'll notice in recessions and depressions is that money concentrates at the highest echelon. So everybody has less money, but the money that is available is in the hands of fewer people. That's always what happens in recession environments, because those are the only people who can weather those storms and profit off those companies, the financial collapses, are people that have enough money to take the hit and then invest once everything is rock bottom. And those are typically your whales. So if I'm lying, crying Jim Ryan, what I'm thinking to myself is, maybe I don't move in that mass market direction, since none of those people are going to have any money. Maybe instead what I do is I hyper focus for this recession that's coming, and I focus on delivering a premium product to those rich dummies. Maybe we do that instead. Now, I'm not saying that's a good strategy. I'm trying. I'm making every attempt to get in good faith, get in this scuzzy motherfucker's head. But I don't know. What do you think, Phil?
It's a complete bunch of bullshit. That's that's just where, like, honestly, I think paying to play online for consoles is stupid. Okay, it just is, because PC, it's free. You pay your internet bill in the month, you buy your game, you're good to go. You can play online. But what makes it really hard to swallow is the fact that even though we are in the U.S., we are in the U.S., not everybody within the U.S. has high quality internet. I live in the country. We just, like I said in my video, we just got a new router put in, and this damn thing, they went out and they cleaned the lines, the internet box out there, and this thing still blinks off every once in a while. I'm sitting here watching it, and it just like cuts off. And it's like, we haven't even got to the point where everybody in the U.S. has the best internet. And it's like they just keep pushing technology harder and faster and faster and harder. And it's like, we haven't even got to the point where internet is stable. We haven't even got to the point where Wi-Fi is as strong and powerful as being hardwired into your router yet. When we get to that point and people can just have Wi-Fi and internet is good all across the board, you don't have these internet companies throttling things in secret, downgrading your stuff, not giving you the speeds they advertise, if the prices are fair all across the board, then maybe I can get on this bandwagon of all these, subscription service bullcrap. But as far as I'm concerned, we ain't there yet, and this is just shit. Like, I don't like this. I'm the old guy in the room that still wants his old Lish in the ish cart and just pop it in and play. I don't want to download anything. I'm so sick of that. And that's just what this is. I don't care for memberships. Everything is a damn membership these days. It's so frustrating. But...
Well, are you familiar with Guy Debord? He was a situationist thinker back in the 1960s. Are you familiar with any of his work? He wrote a book called Society the Spectacle, and it's one I highly recommend to anybody. And he actually said something. So you mentioned the idea of, you like dusting off, blowing off that SNES cart, putting that in, popping that in, boom, game works right off the bat. You're playing Super Mario World. And not only that, but that's an EPROM cart, which means it's not on this flash NAND that our carts are on now, where it dies in fucking 30 years unless you keep it at like perfect room temperature. That's a hard EPROM on that cart. It's not going anywhere. That is permanent physical ownership. 1,000 years from now, after a nuclear bomb hits outside your bunker, your fallout vault, you could still come out. If you could plug that SNES in, you could play that.
Oh man, that makes forever. Me even more happy for those Superman 64 and those ET Atari cartridges.
They're forever. Woo! They're forever. They're forever. They'll be unearthing those at landfills, and if they can get an Atari working, they'll be playing ET. Good on them, right?
Yeah.
But it also has the added benefit of actually being real fucking games preservation. Okay? So I mentioned Guy Debord. I mentioned Society of the Spectacle. He has a great line in that book. And what Society of the Spectacle is about is it's about how the spectacle is deterring all aspects of living. And one of the things he talks about is he says that we will go from owning, and this is back in the 50s and 60s. This guy wrote this. He said, the path we are on, we will go from owning, we will go from living to owning, and we will go from owning to having the appearance of owning.
Man, that guy was looking in a crystal ball. He knew.
That guy had a fucking DeLorean.
He might have been Professor Xavier in disguise, just gone back in damn time or something. Like, wow.
So that line, just every time I read that line, I get chills. It's we will go from living, we will substitute living for owning, and we will substitute owning for the appearance of owning. And look at we don't. And if you look at that, that's happening. We don't own anything anymore, Phil.
No,
there's no physical. They're doing away with physical media. They're doing away with the ability to even own homes. If you see now, you've got companies like BlackRock literally buying up homes left and right and then turning those into rentals. So in the future, everybody will be renting. And this is the path, and the reason for that is because it's not any sinister conspiracy. A lot of folks like to get conspirational on this shit. What I think it is it's just the final destination of where this all goes. These folks are fucking greedy, and they want as much money as they can extract from you as possible, and they want to provide as little as possible for what they give you.
And that's why I get so frustrated at fan bases that just worship the ground a company walks on. Like, look, I get it. They make your favorite thing. That's cool. But not everything they do is to benefit us. Honestly, their end goal is to benefit them. If they end up making something we like, that's a byproduct. It's not because they actually care about you or me or they love you or anything. That's what they're doing. They're doing what is currently trending, what is currently popular, and what's going to make them money.
Exactly.
And they keep doing that.
And that's why I say to everybody, I have the same, it's all transactional to these corporations. And so why the fuck shouldn't my relationship with them be equally transactional?
Exactly.
I've said that as well. So when I look at the Nintendo Switch, my channel is called Flipping the Switch, but I'm no fucking Nintendo fanboy, and you can attest to that. What it is Nintendo made a product that I like right now. The moment Nintendo goes and makes their ridiculous VR fucking Frankenstein that they're getting ready to launch here probably in the next 2 years, I'm probably out. I'm probably just I'm gonna laugh at that.
They're gonna bring back the Virtual Boy 2.
They don't think it failed, Phil. They don't think it failed. I can show you an interview where Shigeru Miyamoto says it was just misunderstood. It's insane the reality these people live in. They don't think it failed.
Oh man, I don't drink alcohol, but I could really use a stiff drink after that.
I'm glad you reminded me of that. God damn it, Rush Dog! I promise I'm not doing this on purpose. So I am drinking tonight as I refill. I am drinking a Midleton's. It's an Irish whiskey. It's a blended Irish whiskey from 2015. This thing's from. So this is
Charms.
I've got a little bit of Lucky Charms with it would go a long way. Now, what's good about this bottle is the bottle I'm looking at. This is the last bottle that the master distiller was Brian Nation. So Brian Nation in particular is one of the most legendary. He was one of the original Midleton's master distillers. So he's the guy that goes and sips the barrel and says, "Yep, this is ready." Like, he's kind of the master of it. He makes sure he monitors the barrels. He was a beloved figure in Irish whiskey. And this was the last year, and I'm so sad because I've only got about an eighth of a bottle left. I'm probably going to finish it off here tonight with you. And when this bottle goes, you can still get Midleton's, but you're not going to touch a bottle of Midleton's from 2015 or below for less than stupid money. So, and that's if you can find them at all. Like a 2015 Midleton's, they're 2015 and below on Midleton's getting hard to find. And anything with Brian Nation's name on it, it fetches stupid prices now.
I have a question. So you have a chat. Like, is anybody saying anything? Because I can't see no comments. So
I don't see too much right now. In terms of comments, it looks like Red Bash is here and he says, "Let's go." But in general,
what's up, bro? What's up?
Yeah, I didn't think it was going to be as festive tonight, just because with OJ, when he, everybody knows, a lot of people know who that guy is. Like the two of us, we're a little bit less known. So it's going to be kind of a solo conversation tonight. I'm not going to see too much chat action, but maybe that changes in the future. But that's okay. Fuck them. We'll just continue our conversation and they can come in when they come in.
Love your honesty. You're like, oh, come and watch. F you if you don't. Hey, but anyways, come on.
Yeah, not fuck you if you don't, but if you don't, I'm not worried about it. I'm still going to have a good time. I can have a good time with 0 viewers. If you mean 0 fucking people here, I have a good time because I got you here. So if every person past 0 to me is a good thing.
Oh, people should be watching this. This is comedy gold. Damn, I needed this.
So where were we? Oh yeah, Guide to Board, Society of the Spectacle. So if you look at that and what's transpired in gaming, yeah, I'm a person who does not lower my standards for anybody. That's why I set out in 2 entire generations of gaming. If you're going to tell me you're going to make a Mario game, I will accept no less than Super Mario Brothers 3 or Super Mario World. If you're going to make a Metroid game, I'll accept no less than Super Metroid. If you're telling me you're going to make a Zelda game, I will accept no less than A Link to the Past. If you can't meet those standards, why the fuck would I play your new game? Why wouldn't I just play the game that is better? Now, these are not high standards, Phil. I mean, a lot of people would think they are, but Nintendo used to be able to meet these standards. They met them all through the 8-bit and 16-bit generations, and they're meeting them now with the Switch. And that's my message to everybody: never be afraid to walk away from a bad deal. If the companies are starting to make shit that you don't like, you don't have to stay here. You can go do other things. Yeah. We are not a captured audience. We don't have to play video games. Video games need us. You need us, pricks. I don't need you. I can go to concerts. I can go world travel. I can go to vineyards. I can go out in nature and hike. I can read books. I can watch movies. There's a million things I can do besides video games.
You can go outside? A gamer outside?
A gamer outside. And what's amazing about this is with the Nintendo Switch, I can even take my gaming outside. So it's a very liberating
life. How dare you? How dare you play your Switch in handheld mode outside of your bed in your PJs?
Well, and to be fair, a lot of people are scared of losing their Switch. It is an expensive piece of hardware to take out and lose.
I mean, that honestly, yeah, me too. I'm just joking. I'm not throwing any shade on anybody.
For real. But I'm not sweating it. If it happens, as long as I don't lose the D-Dacket. Now, if I lose the D-Dacket, I'm fucked. I can't even imagine. I would probably do like a live drink to death stream if I lost that. The D-Dacket, for people that don't know, I reviewed a thing called the D-Dacket. It's a little booklet that holds approximately it says it holds 300 Switch games. But I've actually almost got it at 400 now, and it's still holding strong. I just bought extra card slots, and yeah, it's a little booklet. You can carry it around in one hand, and I've got all my Switch carts in that. So if you want to lose my Nintendo Switch, okay, that's $300. But if I lose that D-Dacket, and I said that.
So where are all your game cases at? Are they on a shelf, or you got them in storage, or what?
So the girlfriend gives me one shelf in order to put all of my Nintendo Switch games on. And it is pretty full. It's double road now, and it's getting ready to where I have to put games on top of the Switch games. So kind of layer them the other way, kind of layer them horizontally now. It is filling up fast because I've got I think I'm coming on 400. Mad Belmont's in the house. Cool. What's up, Mad?
What's up, bro?
So we got Red Bash here. We got Mad Belmont here, and I think that's it for now. So welcome in, guys. That's awesome. Glad to see you could make it. We were talking about Sony and Lion Crying Jim Ryan's personal problems,
and about Zoo losing all his Switch cards because he puts it in a big ass school binder.
No. I don't take the D-Dacket out. I don't take the D-Dacket to the park. I don't take it.
I'm sorry, that's not a school binder. That's the PS5 because that's obviously looks like a binder.
Yeah. So yeah. But yeah, man. I can't think, and that's the other thing I wanted to touch on with the Sony and what they're doing, because I saw this with the X-Bone back when Xbox One launched with Don Matrick and the X-Bone launch.
Oh my gosh!
Whenever, yep, yeah, everybody hated that.
Gave him. Oh man, I should switch to green right now if we're gonna. You know what? I'm gonna switch to green. I'm gonna switch to green.
Belmont says if you stand it up, it looks like an internet router. That fucking box.
Where's my green? Okay.
There you go.
Okay. Yeah, so now
I'm
green.
Yeah, now you're green.
You're Xbox color.
Now you're
because I'm about to go Hulk. Man, the 360 was awesome. Okay, it was pretty damn cool.
I have to trust you on that.
Lost Odyssey is like a true Final Fantasy experience. That damn game is fantastic, and it needs to be on another platform, especially because it was like 5 Xbox 360 discs, because Microsoft didn't want to pay Sony for that Blu-ray, so they're going to come out with their HD discs that were way suckier.
Hold on now. So tell me, Lost Odyssey it's called?
Yes, it's Lost Odyssey. You play as a 1,000-year-old immortal, and the combat is really cool. I don't know if you ever heard of Shadow Hearts, but you have this kind of like circle in your battle. Like most RPGs, you push like attack, magic, and just throws it out. This one, you can actually time your presses, and if you do, you'll either do more damage, an additional attack, or a critical hit where you land it. So you get to be more active in your turn-based RPG instead of just watching things play out. And man, the story was really cool. The characters were really cool. Just that it felt more like a true like Final Fantasy than like Final Fantasy 13. I don't know what the hell they were doing with that.
So now Final Fantasy 13 was one Final Fantasy game I got to play. And let's talk about Final Fantasy 13 because fuck that game. I cannot believe now I want to set the stage for this. I want to set the stage for how I got here. So imagine that. What is it? You hear Bob O'Reilly playing by the Who. You probably wondered how I got here. So the last Final Fantasy game I had played before playing Final Fantasy 13 was Final Fantasy 6.
Yeah, that's quite a jump.
So I want you to imagine the disparity in quality that I jumped into with Final. So I went from playing what is one of the best RPGs ever made to this fucking HD tube.
Yeah. Very linear, no towns, no nothing.
And I remember talking back on the day on the 360 forums on GameFAQs. And I was Bungunzo there too. The conversation's probably still up somewhere. Where I'm just like, what the fuck is this? This isn't a Final Fantasy game. They're like, bro, it gets better for you. It gets better after chapter 12. Oh, it gets better fucking 30 fucking
pretty
hours
much the damn end of the game, and then it opens up in kind of this like sandbox explorable thing where you do these like cycle where you just kill creatures.
That's the excuse.
But if you walk up a damn like thing, you just get into the final boss fight, and you have like Transformer summons you can jump in that are cars. Like, what the hell is this game? In the sequel, oh my gosh, in the sequel, now it's Shift. They put Lightning on the cover, but she's not even in the game except for the first beginning. And you play as her sister that was a side character in the first part you don't have any interaction with because she gets turned into crystal. And then you have the secondary character, some dude, he looks like a gender-bent Yuna, or like the offspring of Yuna and Tidus from Final Fantasy X, which is a way better game. That's actually a really good Final Fantasy game.
I haven't got to 10 yet. I hear good things, and it's on the list. It's on the
list. But the whole thing is, you only have those two characters. All the other characters you met in the first game are like, you just meet them along the way here and there, but you're supposed to play Pokemon in a Final Fantasy recruiting creatures for your party. You went from a linear, weird, like tutorial-based Final Fantasy 13 to 13.2 that's Pokemon, and then 13.3 never played that, but now it's like Majora's Mask. It's Majora's Mask because you have like time things, and then you got like freaking costumes that lightning gets in, and I'm like,
Majora's Mask wants an apology now.
I'm like, what is going on? I don't even know. And they tried to push lightning on everybody. They tried to make you be like, this is going to be the greatest Final Fantasy character in the world. Okay, if she is, where is the HD collection? Because they dropped that so fast.
I don't know, and maybe I just didn't stick around long enough. But like let's look at those characters. What I remember.
But I'll be honest with you. For everything I didn't like about Final Fantasy 13, I would rather play that whole series than ever touch 15 again. Never.
I was out. I was out at 15. Now look
15 is the biggest Final Fantasy disappointment I've ever had in my freaking life. I will never touch that game. This is how much I dislike that game.
Okay.
I forced myself to get the platinum in that game, so I had no excuse to ever revisit again. I was like, I'm going to do everything. I'm going to force myself through this, and then I'm done. And I'm sticking with it. Like I have never taken a Final Fantasy game off my shelf and sold it fast.
I remember Super Eye Patch Wolf really, really hating Final Fantasy 15. He said it was a mediocre disappointment. I think is what he described it as. I never played it.
When you start the game, it insults you as a Final Fantasy. You would have got so pissed off, you would have ejected the disc and threw the damn thing. And it says in the beginning of it, it says the title, and then the first thing you see, a Final Fantasy for longtime fans and first timers. I was like, and then you play it and it's complete shit, and you're like, what is this? No, I'm not even kidding, dude. Like, I could rant. I could literally take this whole video and rant about it.
Well, it's actually kind of shocking that you're saying this, because I'm trying to think of something as fucking stupid as Wind Crystal and Fail Zombie, which is what Final Fantasy 13 was. Think about this in a story-wise. What a great fucking world. So I can either become a Wind Crystal or I can become a Fail Zombie. Those are the two fates of my characters. So you either become a Wind Crystal or a Fail Zombie. I'm like, nah, no thanks. It's good 20 hours in, bruh. Like, no, why can't it be fucking good now? Every other Final Fantasy game is good right now. So no thanks. You can have Lightning. You can have I did like Saz. I thought he was okay, but you can have Lightning, this stiff bitch that is unrelatable and nobody likes. You can have Snow, who I just wanted to punch his fucking face in. Be a hero. Be a hero.
The only two characters I liked in that game was gosh, I don't even remember their name, but they were the ones that kind of like dressed in tribal stuff. The one with the pink hair.
Yeah, Vanille and Fawn.
They're I liked both of them. I thought they were
right. Vanille annoyed me. Fucking Faith or Hope or whatever that little bitch's name was. Crying little bitch at Lightning left behind. Said, you know what? Just fucking die. I'm out of here.
Yeah. There's so many annoying characters in the game, but
I hate that.
Man, 15, like literally at the beginning of the game. So the way they did it, they were like, oh, you can cook. You can have him cook a perfect recipe, so that you can have these buffs. Well, that is something you should never do in this game, because the way it works is you go out, you fight enemies, and you get XP. Okay. But you don't level up at all, ever.
Yeah, you have to go to the hotel, right?
You have to go to a hotel and rest, but the hotel, like, you can go to the camp and rest, and then you can eat food and get buffs. But I never did that, because literally at the beginning of the game, you can drive down the damn highway, go to this tropical resort, and there is a hotel there you could pay to stay that gives you like 2 to 3 times XP. So you go out, you find this little patch where you can grind out this damn cactar at the beginning of the game, and you just kill that damn thing over and over again. You stockpile your XP, you go out there, and you haven't even left the beginning of the game, and you're already like level 40.
Well, don't do that.
It's bullshit.
Well, don't do that.
No. The thing is, you don't have to do that, but the fact they do that is ridiculous. Also,
it is game breaking.
You know how in old Final Fantasy games, when your party got KO'd, it was game over. And this game, you get KO'd, you don't die. You literally can open your menus and scroll all the way down, reading all the items. Take like 10 minutes to do it. Pick a Phoenix down, and Noctis will get back up. And you can just keep popping Phoenix Downs over and over again. You can go into a dungeon that's like 50 levels higher than you. Even though you're getting hit in one hit, you can still like get through it if you have 99 of every damn healing item. And also, if that's not enough, if you get KO'd, you could just push a button and a damn summon drops down and blows everything away and automatically kills it for you, so you don't have to do anything. I'm not even joking. The game is a joke.
I skipped 15, and for that exact reason. That was iPatch's Wolf. That was his problem with it too, from his video that I watched. The main thing iPatch Wolf talked about on that was he said that not only that, but there were special scenes with you and your party growing closer if you camped, right?
Yeah.
But if you didn't camp, but if you camped, you didn't get the experience. And so they made you choose between the experience bonus and actually getting some kind of camaraderie with your party. He hated that. Like, he hated the way that whole way that system works. So I skipped that game. I never even played 15 because 13 had left such a bad taste in my mouth. Yeah. And then I tell you what, I actually borrowed a PS5 in order to play Final Fantasy 16.
Mm-hmm.
And let's just suffice to say, I ended up playing Bloodborne instead, and that was the right choice. So oh my God, I've never played a more miserable game in my fucking life, Phil, than Final Fantasy 16. Like,
I haven't played it yet, and I see so many people praising it. I don't know anything about it, but I'll tell you from the footage I saw, it looked like everything was scripted and on rails, like there was no real exploration or anything. And the fact they put like a hub world type thing in it that you're always going to go back to, that's going to be really boring. And it's like, man, this feels like all that shit they put in modern games that I don't like. I want a real proper Final Fantasy explorable world.
Well, yeah, and there it was pretty on rails from what I played. Again, I didn't get too deep into it, Phil. I just didn't get a chance to do it. From what I played of Devil May Clive, I tried to basically what I tried to do was try to connect with the story, and I had a real problem. With the way that game dealt with oppression. So everywhere you go, so kind of give you the gist of what's going on there. Like, you are a magic user, right? And you are a magic user in a world that literally revolves around magic. Everything is done with magic in this world. And these people couldn't even grow their fucking food without magic users. And yet every magic user is treated like absolute dog shit by these peasants and these people and these royalty. So, like, I'm not kidding. Like, you'll literally go on a quest and this guy's like, he walks up to you, like, spits right at your feet, like, fucking magic scum. Like, I've got problems on my farm with these monsters attacking. Go fucking deal with it, scum, piece of shit. And so your character's like investigating, and your character's like, I got to take care of this. I can't let the beasts eat the people. And I'm sitting there thinking, why not? Fuck that guy. Like, literally the way that, like, all your, the way your character just like, yes, sir, please give me more beating, sir. I'll help you. I hate it. I hated it. I hated the way they dealt with oppression in that game. I hated the way that you selflessly served this world full of absolute fucking pieces of shit. That I wanted them all to die. I was siding with whatever calamity was happening to that planet. I don't want to save this world. I don't even want to be in this world right now. I want this world to end. Is there a way? Is there a way I can side with whoever the bad guy is and end you fucking people? Because that's what I wanted to do in that game.
That would be a great twist for a Final Fantasy game where you actually play as the villain. In the end, you start out as a hero and then you become a villain, and then you actually, end it. That's probably why I liked Final Fantasy Stranger in Paradise, because
you get to be the villain. And I'll tell you another game.
You get to kick major ass, man. You get to rip these enemies apart. Die! I'll kill you!
Chaos! Chaos!
Yeah.
Chaos.
He just crushes everything and rips them apart and shatters. It's fun. It's just fun.
I'll always love that game for the memes. You got this guy in his fucking t-shirt ranting about chaos. I'll always love that game for the memes. Like, that game will always have. It's kind of like Metal Gear Solid. What is it? Metal Gear Solid Rising with Senator Armstrong. All the memes. Like, there's some games that literally transcend video gaminess, and that game is actually one of them. So we got some comments. So Matt Belmont says Shadow Hearts. He says, yes, fucking love that game. So you got another vote for Shadow Hearts. Red Bash says, laugh my ass off. My man said, F that game. Yeah, I'll say it again. Fuck that game. I'm not only nuclear takes here on Liquored Up Live. Matt Belmont says, I swear to God, if I could burn every single copy of Final Fantasy 13 ever, fuck that piece of garbage. Whoa.
Oh my God.
Whoa. Now, Matt Belmont, we are for video games preservation here, even the shitty ones. So you're admonished.
No, man. Y'all can take the ET and the N64 Superman. I'm good. I don't need that.
What's the matter? What's the matter with both of you guys? You're admonished, Matt Belmont. You're admonished, and Phil, you're admonished. We preserve.
Hey, I said games. You can preserve it. You can preserve it. It ain't getting preserved in my collection. I'll throw that shit out, and it can hit somebody in the head, and they can be like, "Oh, look, it's a good game." Oh yeah, it's definitely a good game. Have fun with that, kid.
Well, hey, I never said I'm preserving it. I'm a curator. It ain't coming near my collection, but somebody should preserve it, just not me. Somebody else can do that shit.
Oh my God.
So you've got Matt Belmont also saying Lightning Returns is a horrible Majora's Mask ripoff. Again, Majora's Mask. You owe Majora's Mask an apology, both of you. Now, and this is coming from someone who doesn't really like Majora's Mask that much. Like, you owe that game an apology. That's terrible. I would not compare Lightning Returns to anything. I wouldn't compare Lightning Returns to that crusty piece of dog shit that's in the corner of my front yard because the neighbor won't stop stopping at the front of my yard. Right in front of my gate and letting that dog shit. So that I wouldn't even compare it to that. That's how little I feel about Final Fantasy 13. Final Fantasy 13 almost made me abandon Final Fantasy, and I say almost.
I'm curious when you play Final Fantasy 10 how you will feel, because I have a love-hate. I love the first game. It was the first voice-acted Final Fantasy game, by the way. I love the first game. Absolutely love even the cringy laughing and the cringy audio.
That's the only, of course.
Yeah, the meme stuff. Yeah. But the sequel, 10-2, it was like some girl power, Charlie's Angels, Sailor Moon dress up bullshit that didn't need to happen. Because one had a bittersweet, beautiful ending. I love the way it ended. It should have been standalone, but no, Square Enix was in that phase where they just had to make everything happy-go-lucky, and if you get 100%, do all the shitty-ass side quests, you can make a happy ending, which is bullcrap. I didn't like it. But man, 10, I loved what they decided to do with the summons in that game.
Well, that's a good
in that game, you have Yuna. She's a summoner, so she can summon all these summons, and throughout the game, you get her more summons.
Okay.
And when she summons them, they have this amazing opening cutscene when they come in. It's so amazing. I don't even shorten the cutscenes. I have to watch it. So that she has like her limit breaker overdrive, which is to summon whoever, Shiva, Ifrit, whatever. Mm-hmm. But when they come out, instead of just being a cutscene you watch and then they're gone, they actually become a party member with their own magic, their own HP and mana, their own special attacks, and their own limit break. Their own freaking limit break.
See, now that is an added mechanic into the Final Fantasy formula. I love that.
They have never done that again with a Final Fantasy game. It was only for this one game.
That's cool.
And man, dude, the ending, the way they tie with ending and the summons, and the more you get, the more you collect. Oh man, it makes like something happens. Like the end, I won't spoil. Oh man, I love that game. I love the game. I love the characters. I love the villains.
Well, I'm a big fan of stakes in games. So when you mention the second game reverses and lets you have a happy ending, that I hate, because I'm a fan of stakes in games. I think that if you have a good villain, that villain has to take from your party. That villain has to show you what the stakes are.
It's like you have this story. It's really, really. It's like the problem with Dragon Ball Z. So a character dies, and what? Then they get the magic Dragon Balls, and they come back, and it's like death has no meaning. And that's what you do when you make a sequel to a game that doesn't need a sequel. It's fine. And there was like an audio drama they did so many years ago, and they've been talking here and there over the years about doing a part 3. And I said, I will come to the Square Enix Corporation and I will fight you with Cloud's Buster Sword and Squall's Gunblade at the same time if you touch Final Fantasy X again and ruin it anymore. Like, leave it alone. I cannot stand when companies do not know when to end a good thing. They just keep milking it and milking it and milking it. It drives me absolutely up the wall. Just stop while you're ahead.
Well, yeah, because what you're doing is you're damaging your own IP.
And then people get so sick of it. You've talked about it with the Marvel Cinematic Universe. I've even gotten tired of it. Like, now I'm just like, whatever. I'll watch it whenever I get to it. I don't care. Aside from like probably the next Spider-Man like movie, whatever. I'm not going to care. But because it's like things go on too long. If you have a good story, end it. Leave it alone. Don't touch it again. Don't make some half-assed sequel that's not even going to make sense, because the core story, the core villain, the character growth of the main characters and the side characters are done. What else is there to tell? There's nothing.
So you mentioned that you were one who took the position that I have no interest in Final Fantasy 16. You were one of the early people who I remember saying that. Phil, I got to tell you.
Because I saw some things in it that I was like, I don't know.
Well, Phil, let me be one to tell you, buddy, you were 100% right. You were 100%.
I mean, if I play it, because I've been so burnt by Final Fantasy. Like, the last good Final Fantasy I ever played was 10 on the PS2. 10-2 disappointed me. 12, I have to give it a second chance. It was kind of different. I didn't care for the MMO ones. If you do, that's fine. More power to you. That's just not what I like in a Final Fantasy. I consider those side games. They should not be called numbered main entries. I don't care if that triggers you. It just makes everything weird. Like, if you're trying to collect the whole Final Fantasy series, even the shitty games, having the MMOs on there when you can't play them because they're MMOs, it's like, why is this here in my collection? It's pointless. But then you'll have like it'll be 1, 2, 3, 4, and then it'll just like, oh, I don't have 2 right here. I skipped 3 games because those were MMOs. Well, I don't like that.
And that's one of the things I talk about in terms of. Did you get a chance to see Brandon's from Just the Gems? Did you get a chance to see his video on Final Fantasy 16 story that he made today?
No.
He opened up a hell of a good conversation, and I would also recommend anybody go watch that video if you get a chance. If you're not,
it's got spoilers in it, because I'm planning. I will give it a chance. I will play it. I will play it at some point, but I don't even have a PS5 yet. I'm just gonna wait. Like, when that game is like $20, maybe.
And so, because I'm not gonna
Square Enix.
Yeah, and I'm not going to get into spoilers here. Yeah, that's what I was going to say. If you guys aren't spoiler centric, if you don't care about spoilers, or if you're not planning on playing the game, go check out Just the Gems. I watched it because I don't give a fuck about this game. But he opened up a hell of a good discussion on storytelling and on the way developers view their fans. Because basically his premise, and this isn't to get into spoiler territory because this isn't a spoiler, but essentially what Brandon is saying in that video is that Square Enix has a meta narrative going on about how the developers are trapped by the customers into making things they don't want to make. There's this meta narrative about how we are enslaved to the customer and we have to continue to do things for them, even if it's things we don't want to do. And that
I think that's bull.
Oh yeah, no, really, and that's the thing. And so let me read you the comment I left on Just the Gems video, because of course I couldn't help myself, and he agreed with me for what it's worth for the most part.
This is turned from like us ranting about PlayStation's price increase to literally talking crap about Final Fantasy. You're probably gonna have to rename this video.
Oh no! I mean, the video is Liquored Up Live.
In the rant about Final Fantasy.
Yeah, no. The video's name is Liquored Up Live, featuring Phil1UpCollects. So there's no false expectations given. They know they're getting me. They know they're getting me drunk. They know they're getting Phil1Up plays. So they're getting everything. If they're in the chat, if you're in the chat, no givesies, backsies, no refunds. You know what you're fucking here for. So you're here. But Brandon did this video, and I said Brandon has highlighted something I have been pointing out for a long time about the video games industry. I said Smash Brothers was not new. It was treading the same old ground of a 2D fighter, just made more accessible. Mm-hmm. Super Mario Brothers was not new, as it was trending the same ground began by the smash hit of Pitfall in games like Pac-Land and Jump Bug. Legend of Zelda tread the same ground by Western arcade smash hits like Gauntlet and games with open worlds like Ultima 3. When World of Warcraft was made, it was trending the same ground as EverQuest, and Blizzard didn't call it Warcraft 4. They specifically marketed it as something different to avoid backlash from their fans. You don't fix chess because you have a new idea. You make the new idea its own goddamn thing. In the same way, Final Fantasy was not broken until they began trying to fix it. Yep. All market data shows that treading new ground when there are established expectations by customers ends up destroying established franchises. The entire GameCube era is proof of this. Ultima 9 is proof of this. There are innumerable examples. In no other industry do employees get to do whatever they want. The bus driver does not get to be creative and choose a new bus route every day. No, the bus driver must drive the same route every day, day after day. The steakhouse chef does not get to nuke the menu and replace it with the peanut butter and jelly sirloin, marshmallow chocolate salmon, and other such nonsense.
Oh my gosh, he has just hearing that.
He has to simmer expectations and limit experimentation to specials. The game industry has been protected from this reality because of the red-hot rise in computers and internet, as well as the growing economies. But now, computer growth is no longer red-hot, and economies are shrinking. Lo and behold, reality is beginning to sink in on the games industry. They can't just do whatever they want. Now, that's not to say that there's no room for creativity. This is often where new hits come from. Body Harvest.
Yeah, the indie scene. There's so many fantastic indie games that are doing mix-ups of genres that you'd never think, like music RPGs and horror, like platformers and other cool
indie games
ideas.
Have really stepped
up.
Yeah,
indie games is where you see the most creativity and originality because they're not constrained by big corporations, 100%. Big publishers, big investors going, you got to make another like Call of Duty, blah, blah, blah. Like, no, you get to actually make what you want to make. And I remember a couple of years ago, I think it was like a year ago, there was a manga con, don't really remember the manga, forget, but he had a name for a character. And he got so much backlash for it because it was like some kind of controversy. People took the name as like something negative or whatever. So he apologized and he changed the name of the character. And I was so livid when I heard that. I was like, that is wrong.
Right.
That is wrong. That is his character. That's his manga. That's his work of art. He gets to decide what he wants to put in it. And if you as a fan don't like it, you can take your happy ass down the road.
Correct.
That's his work, not yours.
And I agree with
you. You don't get to decide what they get to do with it. If you don't like it, make your own.
Well, and I agree with that, Phil. I agree with that within the realms of a new IP. Now, if you're dealing, if you're dealing with Final Fantasy,
I also wanted to say when you were talking about like them changing games and changing the formula instead of just creating a new IP, Final Fantasy 15, it did sell. It did sell well, but it didn't sell as good as it should have. And as good as the new mainline Final Fantasy. And the reason why, because honestly, it wasn't that great. But I guarantee you, if Square Enix would have released that under a different name, it would have sold like garbage. It only sold because of the name alone.
And that's what we're talking. That's what we're dealing with these new IPs, with these established legacy IPs being Buffalo Bill skinned with a new IP stuffed into it. What they want to do is they want to have their cake and they want to eat it too. And you don't get to do that. When you are dealing with established legacy IPs, you are dealing with established customer expectations. Now, I'm all for creativity. Again, I'm all for creativity, but you have to do it with something new.
Yeah. I thought Final Fantasy X was the perfect combination of everything that came before, and they added new mechanics with the summons, and it was so cool. It was so awesome. Adding in voice acting, adding in like this nice big sphere grid of all these abilities, and you had the characters that could eventually learn other things, and you could mix and match certain things.
And that's what I said in this comment here. So I continue on this comment, and I say that is not to say there's no room for creativity in gaming. This is often where all the new hits come from. Body Harvest was a chance that led to GTA. Market loves brand new games, brand new ideas. What people are objecting to is the complete reinvention of a beloved game series based on the selfishness of a game developer. You will notice now that GTA sticks to customer expectations, and when they want to do something new, they go do something new, such as Red Dead Redemption. I said, now these guys seem to literally be making games about how their customers don't treat them as gods and buy whatever they put out. We're the problem. In their eyes, we're what's holding gaming back. The more I listen to game developers, the more I just see selfish people who just want to do whatever they want to do and have us pay for it, is what I said.
Gaming has gotten so exhausting and frustrating in a lot of ways. Now, don't get me wrong, there's still great things there.
Yeah, and
I still have a heart for gaming, but man, things have just got, every time you turn around, there's a new controversy, there's a new thing to argue about. There's console wars, there's fan wars, and it's like, it's so stressful to keep up with, even with collecting. Like, things are getting more expensive, things are getting ridiculous, and it's like, I can't even buy a copy of a game now and it actually be on the physical build.
Right.
It's update, download, patch this, patch that, and I'm like, I'm ready to just peace out, sell a lot of my modern collection and other things, and buy some retro games, even if it costs a lot. I mean, if I can only get like 5 or 10 of my favorite ones that I know I would want my collection, at least I know I can really enjoy those. And there's always other ways to still play them. So I don't know.
It costs a lot, but then at the same time, it doesn't. This is what I will tell.
But it's quality. You're paying for quality, and I don't like paying scalpers. I don't like paying resellers. Well,
but is it? And the thing I will tell you,
if I can let it go of pretty much, I guess. Well, it's not really shovelware, but you can kind of consider a lot of the releases we get now.
Sure, but wait a second here, because I want to touch on this. This is important, because is it scalping? So right now, I'm gonna ask you a question. So I'm on DK Oldies, which, by the way, don't buy your games from DK Oldies. But it's the first listing that pulled up, and they have a used copy of Final Fantasy III for $99. You save $30. No, you say geez. But is that really? I'm going to ask the chat, and I'm going to ask Phil, and I'm probably going to take a devil's advocate stance here that I actually believe in. Is that really scalping, guys?
Let's see. I think you said something to me before when we were on the phone call earlier that you paid, I think back in the day when it was brand new, $80 for like Final Fantasy VI or something. So based on that, technically, I guess no, but I don't know the original price for that particular.
It was $80. It was $80 to $100 depending on what store you went to and when you got
Okay, so the one they had marked right there back in the day, in box, brand new, it was like $80, $90.
In the box, brand new. That's important too. Yes, in the box, brand new, you're looking at an $80 to $100 game.
So I would say, for just a loose cart they're selling, it's based on that and the time, and like depending on if they cleaned it or not, because they've gotten flack for not doing that. If the manual's all worn out, maybe a little over what they should be charging. I think they could probably do it like maybe $20 cheaper, 15 something. because it's just a cart.
And by the way, I love that you threw that wrinkle in there, Phil, because I didn't even think about that. You're right. That's one thing we have to consider is the fact that was a brand new game. It came with the manual, it came with the map, it came with the box, it came with everything.
Yeah.
That has to be considered, and I was not considering that with the argument. So you've actually deturned my argument already, which is fantastic. I love to see that. Because here was going to be my argument. My argument was going to be that in 1994 I paid $80 for that game. DK Oldies wants $99. They have $129, but they're passing on a whopping $30 savings to you right now.
Woo!
And it's only now they want $99.99 for the game. So
they want pretty much full retail value back then for a used cart now.
That was something I was not considering. So we're going to look at that too now because you've added that. That's a great wrinkle to add into this discussion. In 1994, if we were to buy the same game today with the dollar's inflation rate, Final Fantasy III in 1994 with 2023 dollars would cost you $165.02 and an inflation rate of 106.3% since 1994. That's how much we've inflated our currency. So $165. So what I would argue is, yes, retro gaming is expensive. Retro gaming is expensive. But if you look at the power of the dollar today versus the power of the dollar of yesteryear, it's not as expensive as you think it is. Now, I will agree with you that like Mad Belmont, the comments are coming in. Oh, snap, DK Oldies being called out. Not necessarily. In a way, I'm kind of defending DK Oldies here. In a way, I don't want to get into the DK Oldies drama. I'm not fucking Rich from Review Tech. I'm not gonna do 50 fucking videos on DK Oldies.
You mentioned Rich.
I'm not fucking Rich from Review Tech. Nothing against the guy, but I'm not gonna skip it up, but I do not. 50 fucking videos.
I actually really love that guy's intro. That's the one thing why I click on his video. And I love when he goes, "Hi guys." So he talks like that.
Yeah. So I'm not going to get it. So no DK Oldies drama here. In fact, I'm sort of defending them, but not really because I told you not to shop there too. So I'm gonna be a milquetoast fence sitter on this issue. Don't shop at DK Oldies.
What are the other comments we get?
Yeah. So it's just a cart. That's fucking ridiculous. Mad Belmont says. Now, complete in box. He was saying the same thing you were saying. That's a different story, and I agree with that, guys. So now, what I would ask you is, what is the box and the manual and the map that shows the World of Ruin and the World of Light worth to you guys? So, what is that worth to you? Because right now we're looking at $165 is what we would have to get up to for you to be paying what you were paying in 1994. So DK Oldies wants they want $100 reduced for Final Fantasy III, which you can find it at a better price than that. I promise. I promise.
I mean, the problem is trying to find that like in really good condition to be really hard, and then you would never want to open it. I don't know, man. Yeah, I don't know what I would want for that.
So what I would argue,
I'm a cheap ass. I would say $20, but nobody's going to give it to me for $20.
So now you're at $120. Collectors in box. Yeah, now we're like, let me just for the sake of argument, let me take a look at Final Fantasy III collectors in box. This is gonna hold on to your assholes, guys.
I don't think I can.
Yeah, hold on to your butts. Not as bad as I thought. 300. Okay, but yeah, now okay. So if we're talking about parity in product, which Phil you brought up, Mad Belmont brought up, and I'm gonna agree with that. If you're talking about parity of purchase, the same product I bought in 1994 is the same product I'm buying in 2023. Yeah, even with inflation, $332 is what they want on average.
Jeez.
For Final Fantasy III complete in box. So yeah, I will see.
This is why I don't buy the NES and the SNES cards, because for one, I don't have the console.
Yeah.
And that one console they did a couple of years ago called like the Super NT that let you play them in like the best possible way on a modern like hookup. I wish I could get that, but that thing was discontinued and now it goes for like pretty expensive money. You could still get the Game Boy one. What's it called? I forget. It's like Pocket something. You can get that currently until they discontinue that. But It's like, damn, the only option I would have for playing those retro carts now is either the original device, which is something I don't want to do because I don't have TVs for the old hookups. I don't have 2 TVs. I'd have to get something like a Retron 5, and I hear the emulation is kind of wonky and the cart slots are really tight. And I know Jay has one of those, and he says the control is shit. I joined one of his streams once, and he's like, "This controller sucks so bad," and he like wanted to throw the damn thing at the window, and I was like, "Oh man, I don't know." So I'm like, I don't even mess with that. I was like, okay, when it comes to retro, I just want like PS1, PS2, GameCube, DS, and then maybe Game Boy Advance. Because I don't want anything further back than Game Boy Advance. And it's not because there isn't good games on there. I really like the games. It's because that those games had batteries and you have to open it up, unscrew it, and change the batteries like ever so often.
Yeah, and
I think it's every 5 or 10 years, but it's like I don't want to mess with that.
Right.
Like I just rather not collect for that, and then like do emulation, whatever you need to do to play those. So
I hear that, and again, I'm glad we actually got to explore this on stream tonight, guys, because you guys actually see. Let it not be known that Drunk Munganzoo is not a reasonable chat, because I've actually changed my mind on this now. You guys have, the retro game prices. If we're looking at parity, if we're looking for dollar at dollar, what the product you bought in 1994, buying the same product, it's double. It's double the rate of inflation. It's insane. It's not viable for most people. I agree.
That's why I'm not going to be able to get a lot of them. That's why I'm like, you know what? I'm going to just get the ones that I really want. I know I have some stuff around here that could probably trade in. And it's like, hey, if I can get a couple of those more expensive games than I want, and so be it. Because I wish I could be one of those people who's like, oh yeah, I got the bro prize. They gave me this most expensive like PS2 game that goes for like $300 for like $50. Thanks, dude. Yeah, I'm not getting that kind of hookup. I wish I could. I'm not going to mom's garage across the street and then getting like 10 really expensive GameCube games. I wish I could. And people that are getting those kind of deals are the ones that are flipping it. They already have probably 3 or 4 copies of that. That is bullshit. I just want one copy for me. I'm not out to flip nothing. I just want it for my own personal collection. Because, yes, I was young. I was stupid. I got rid of some games I shouldn't have. I wish I didn't. And then didn't have a lot of money, so I had to trade in a game in order to get a new game if I wanted something new to play.
Right.
That was just how I had to do things back then when you have a single mother and not a lot of money, and it sucks. I wish I never did it. I wish future me could have went back and slapped younger me in the face and be like, don't do it. But shoulda, woulda, coulda. Now I'm gonna have to.
And sometimes those kind of things, those financial situations, force you into shit, man. That's real shit. Did you get a chance to see the video about that was my retro gaming life? It was John Hancock talking about getting a TurboGrafx 16 for Christmas, and it was basically he grew up impoverished. And he was just reminiscing on what that system meant to him. Like he had a single mom who was able to save and get that system. And it broke his heart because she literally thought that she was failing him because it wasn't a Genesis or a Super Nintendo. And he told her, he said, Mom, I had so much fun with that console. You didn't fail shit. And literally teared up. He cried right on the video. It was touching, man. And it just goes to show you that not everybody has the same means. You know, in the game industry would do well to understand that people are struggling right now, Phil.
I know. That's why this PS price increase is ridiculous, because you don't get anything extra for it. See how we come all full circle? Long tangent. Honestly, you could like literally take this video, cut everything else, and put it.
The best discussions are always a wheel. The best discussions are always a wheel.
But it's like you don't get anything extra for the $20 extra for the basic PS Plus membership. Nothing extra. You're paying $20 more for the same service that you already have now. And you could argue that, you could go up one extra tower for the extra because it gives you like all these titles you can download for like the PS4. So you could say that, oh, I have a lot of sealed games. I don't want to open them.
Right.
They have a bunch of them on here that I could just like buy them, pay for the membership, try, play them, and then keep my copy sealed. And if I don't like them, I could sell them for whatever, get the full value, and then get better games or retro games. So I can understand that argument. But the most expensive tire is complete shit, especially if you have bad internet, because all it gives you is PS1 digital games, which isn't even the full library that was available on the PS3. You get PSP games, but no Vita. Where the hell are the Vita games, Sony? Once again, no access to digital Vita titles. Like, I don't understand why you hate the Vita so much. And then PS3 games, all the library on there, it's only streamable. Only streamable. If you don't have good internet, you're not even going to be able to do that.
So wait a minute. So you can't play you can't take a PlayStation 3 disc and put it in the PlayStation 5 and play your PlayStation 3 game? Is that what you're telling me?
It's only backwards compatible with PS4, and the PS4 backwards compatibility.
Are you fucking shitting me?
You need to have like PS5 version if you want it to like some games have compatibility issues.
Sony,
and then some games give you a free PS5 upgrade. A lot of the Sony first-party titles will require you to pay for the PS5 upgrade if you put your PS4 disc in. There's a lot of shit.
Sony sisters, make it stop. Make it stop.
I don't under. They're trying to copy and like one up Microsoft so much, and they're getting so detached from the classic Sony I loved on the PS1 and PS2.
Yeah, they built their fucking brand.
Where is that? They lost all of their Japanese culture. They moved their whole headquarters to the freaking US, and now it's like, censored everything. They used to not censor anything, and it's like they closed down these studios that used to put out bangers on the PS1 and PS2, and it's like, I don't understand. Get Jim Ryan, that crying ass, out of there, please. Like, I can't. Nintendo is going to be the last bastion of physical. It's not because they like physical any more than the other two. Let's not pretend Nintendo cares. It's that Nintendo is such a fucking dinosaur company, and it takes them forever to yeah, I've said that for years.
We're not being saved by Nintendo being benevolent on our side. We're being saved by Nintendo being outdated.
I want to call them hashtag Ninjasic Park. Because they're literally a dinosaur. Ninjasic Park.
And I love that. And part of me loves that about them. It's part of what I love about them is the fact that, they literally, they're the last arcade roots company. They're the last company with 1 foot planted in the arcade games. Donkey Kong, Wrecking Crew, mega hit games like that. And it's important because if you look at what the console trajectory was, there were two developments. If you go back, the original games were played live. They were sports games. That was the original games that human beings played. It's sports games and board games. And over time, this developed two different trajectories. On one hand, electronics developed, and you developed things like pinball machines. Another path leads to pen and paper RPGs like Dungeons and Dragons. The pinball machine develops into the arcade. The Dungeons and Dragons games develops into your first PC big role-playing games and your text-based adventure games. Furthermore, arcade games slowly develop into console games. Consoles being a merging of the best of both worlds. That's the synthesis between the PC and the arcade. You have the tactile.
And at the time, they were the more affordable option.
Also, nobody's gonna. What are you gonna do? Buy fucking arcade machines as they come out? What are you galloping? You're gonna have a whole warehouse full of arcade machines? Now get out of here. And PCs at that time, only the most geek fucking computer nerd tech bros and wealthy ones at that were programming PCs at the time. I'll never forget having to get a brand new gaming PC to play Ultima 7. Never forget having to do that. Literally, you could not do it with literally a PC that if you had bought a PC 8 months before Ultima 7 came out, guess what? If you want to play Ultima 7, you're buying a brand new PC to play that game. It was the crisis of its time. Never forget having to do that and all the boot discs that came with that game. So the console simplified all that. The whole point of console was you don't have to deal with all the complexities of PC gaming. You had larger games than what were on the arcade. Consoles allowed for larger adventures, but also had that tactile feel of the arcade. It was the best of both worlds. That's literally how the console was originally defined. A synthesis between PC gaming and arcade gaming. And we have gotten far away. It's now they're PCs. They're just PCs.
Now it's like there's no real uniqueness to it. I mean, now it's like gimmicky kind of stuff they're doing.
Yeah.
But it's like we're just having cheaper versions of PCs that don't run things as well.
Yeah.
And then our physical copies, like a lot of people say, are just like codes or something.
So if there's no differentiation between PCs and consoles, and
what's
the console
the point?
is just a lesser PC, why wouldn't I just go buy a PC? And that's also.
I mean, I still want to hold on to. My big crutch is like my internet is just bad, and a physical copy will have data on it that I won't have to download if I'm just downloading.
PCs, there's no physical games anymore. Yeah.
But the problem is that so many games now are big and massive, and they have, even though they might, there's 50 gigabytes on this disc, I still have to download another 50. And it's like, it's getting to the point where a physical copy is harder to make an excuse for, like harder to want to invest in. And it sucks, but there are exceptions to the rule. There really are. Like with premium, we're trying really hard to make sure we bring out physical copies that are complete on that cartridge
and the disc,
and give you like that classic retro things that you love with manuals and foil art and all that cool stuff put in it. Because we love that stuff. We remember that stuff. We that's what we like. And it's sad when things are just more about like just download this, download that, download everything. And I'm like, I don't know. I have friends, like I said, that are leaving the consoles. Like my one buddy, Dark Chaser, that I've known for years online. He just got his own pre-built desktop for like little over 1,000.
Right.
Like it has had a 4060 in it, or 40. I think it's a 4060. And I was talking to my nephew. My nephew was like, "Man, that's more powerful than mine." Oh my gosh! Mine only has like a hard drive in it. It has a solid state drive. And he's like, I think I'm just gonna like download. I'm gonna get Game Pass on there to experience all the Xbox stuff for whatever. And then if I want to play some retro stuff, I'm just gonna like emulate the retro stuff. And it's getting to the point where it's like, I would rather just have a handful of retro games I grew up with that I love on my shelf as my collectible pieces.
Man,
and maybe I dust it off and take it out and play it. But I'm just getting to the point where it's like, man, I'm just ready to have
Super Mario 3 every year. Every year I play Mario 3. Like,
I'm just ready to have like a gaming PC that I can play a lot of this stuff and not deal with all these issues.
Let's talk a little bit about premium edition games, because I can vouch for you guys as a physical Switch collector. You guys do good work. Games I got Rain on Your Parade. I got Raji from you guys. I got Phenotopia, which is an amazing game.
Yeah.
And I got this absolutely boss fucking Nintendo Switch collectors year one guide that literally has like a Furukawa silhouette on the back of it. It is just marvelous. The quality of that book too, the Hogan's Alley books or something like that.
Hagen's Alley, yeah, that's our commander in chief. He does all of these beautiful works of art.
Yeah, that's a good way to describe it.
He's just a master of the craft. He's had so many successful Kickstarters for various books, and the Robot Name Fight Deluxe Edition, dude, the 200-page art book guidebook, making of, foil pages with the ribbon. It's absolutely beautiful.
Yeah,
and it's like you don't get those kind of books in collector's editions. You don't.
Reminds me,
if you get a
well, I'll tell you what it reminds me of is the Origin Systems, which made the Ultimate games. It reminds me of their black box games. And Phil, I can't give you better praise than that. Those games came with cloth maps. Those games came with, and that was at the time that was your standard edition of those games physically. And it reminds me of that. So, how did you end up getting hooked up with premium edition games? If you don't mind me asking, that was that's pretty cool that you're actually part of that preservation effort.
There's some fun stories behind that. So I met some of the guys online. I met Barry Carenza. He's great. I love him. Barry, big old lovable guy. He's a friend to everybody. So wonderful. And then I met Frank, and I met Jeff. And when I found out that they were going to do physical releases for the Switch at the time, I thought that was so cool. It's like, I know people that are getting into making physical games for this platform I really love, and I would like to collect. This is so awesome. And I just wanted to support them. I didn't want anything in return. I didn't ask for anything. I'd share the links and I just kind of hype it up, talk to them about it, and support them with it. But I have a funny story that correlates to Rain on Your Parade. So on my channel, there is this YouTube video where it's like a movie. It's like the premium edition games movie. And I got their blessing to do it. This video took me like, oh my goodness, it was like months and months of editing and then reworking, restarting, editing. But the concept of it has like an opening like Star Wars. And this talking cartoon cloud breaks into my home and forces me to play premium edition games where he's going to beat me up. And I have all the characters and the mascots in there beating me up and everything. And then I show the trailers throughout, and there's so many pop culture references. There's like a Dragon Ball battle. There's Pokemon. There's Digimon. There's just funny little things in there.
So
right?
If
it's like an hour.
If you had to pick, who's the bigger asshole, the goose from Untitled Goose Game or the fucking cloud from Rain on Your Parade? Who's the bigger asshole?
Probably the cloud. But the funny thing about that is I had no idea they ever signed a game that was literally about it. I came up with that whole idea before I ever knew. And then when I'm watching the direct and that drops, I'm like, oh my gosh. It's like, how did I know this was going to happen? I had no idea. And then I also made the irony of that was so hilarious. And then I actually thought about bringing him back, like doing like a Rain on the Parade, like a boxing thing. And then like I may bring the cloud back. It's just really hard to do.
Right.
It's a lot of time. But then, I made a Facebook group. It's really small. I think there's like 100 people in there to kind of promote them and show the releases. And I did some unboxing. I just really supported them, and they gave me the opportunity, and it's been such a blessing. I can't thank them enough for that. I'm so happy to be working with them, and it is so cool to be both a gamer and collector and see it from a consumer standpoint, but now have insight from actually working in that space. And it gives you a perspective that you would have never got if you were just on one side. So it's been really enlightening and really fun getting to learn all this stuff. And I mean, come on.
I can imagine. I can
look at our releases.
Yeah, I know.
Just look at the stuff. Like, the foil, like, come on. If you like Castlevania or whatever, you gotta have that. Look at that castle.
Belmont, are you looking at that?
Belmont, you still here, buddy? You gotta have Cathedral. I think we still have it on our website. Now, Phoenotopia, this is throwback Zelda art, by the way, right?
Yeah,
here?
No, that's what drew me to it.
Yeah.
You know me, I'm a Zelda fan. That was our first talk.
Phoenotopia was the story behind that is really interesting because that dev, he hold on, I'm trying to get these back in here. We put it back on
No, you're good.
without dropping them. The dev, nobody really believed in that game. He would try to get it signed for physical, and they're like, well, how's the sales? And he just kept getting turned away. The dev just kept getting turned away. We saw it, and we fell in love in it. We thought, this game is a sleeper. Like, why isn't anybody talking about this on the eShop? So we signed it, and everybody went crazy for it. Like, they had to have it. The retro edition completely sold out. People wanted it. Like, and now we have the PS4 version coming. And what we're doing with our PlayStation releases is really unique, because as you know, we have challenge patches with our Switch games. You open the game up because we encourage you to open and play your game, and you do the challenge. You submit the proof. You give us your full name, your address, order number if you bought it through us, or wherever. Tell us where you bought it if you got it for a gift or whatever. Send all that proof to us through our support at premiumeditigames.com, and you earn yourself a challenge patch. But with our PlayStation lineup, we are doing platinum trophy patches.
Okay.
So you get the platinum trophy on PlayStation, and you just get digital bragging rights. Nobody sees that unless they look on your profile. We're giving you a physical representation of you earning that platinum trophy. So you're going to have something physical and tangible to show that, hey, I got the platinum trophy.
I like that because games are meant to be played, not sealed in plastic coffins and speculated on.
Yeah, and you also get a cool ass steelbook with it too.
Yeah. I love that you encourage that. That's great. And in terms of me, like talking about customer service, seeing the other side of things. My first job ever was working behind a meat counter in a small Midwestern grocery store. And
that sounds like something you would have done.
So
Youngin Zoo. Back then you were Youngin Zoo.
I was Youngin Zoo, and and the stuff you would get from people. The stuff the like there's so many stories. It's there one guy came in, this old guy, and he had false teeth. And he came in and he'd go, "Give me about a pound wolf bacon." I said, "Sir, we're fresh out of wolf bacon." He just looked at me like I'm stupid. Like, "Oh, you mean you want a pound worth of bacon?" Okay. But he had false teeth, the older guy. I could never understand what he was saying. I had another older lady. There's a pattern that's going to be here. And she comes in and she says, "Hey, where's your Choco at? Do you have any Choco?" And I said, "Choco?" I said, "Well, we're out of Choco. I don't think we have any of that, but let me check with grocery real quick." So I called the grocery manager and said, "Hey, do we have any Choco?" Like, he's like, "Choco? Fuck's that." I said, "Well, I don't know, like a chocolate drink, like a chocolate energy drink or something. Choco." He's like, "We don't have Choco." I'm like, "I'm sorry, man, we don't have any Choco." And she's like, What do you mean you don't have any Choco?" And I said, "Well, we don't have it." And she said, "You mean to tell me you're a meat department and you don't have the little cubes that keep your meat up?" "Oh, charcoal. Oh, okay. Yeah, it's down aisle 4, man." It's like, so one of the things they don't tell you about customer service is a requirement for that job is mind reader.
Oh yeah.
I can't read through that, whatever that accent is. I don't know what Choco is. But I was able to finally help this like 83-year-old lady get a bag of Kingsford. Like, but yeah, I had no fucking clue what she was talking about.
Choco.
Yeah, what is
almost sounds like I think she wants a chocolate taco. I think she wants a chocolate covered taco.
Wait, oh my gosh, we were just talking about you don't get to do what you want to do. Like, yeah, chocolate taco, like a dessert taco. Somebody in this chat fucking patent that and make some money. Like, holy shit, a Choco. Yeah, I can imagine like a dessert taco. You have like a pastry shell, and you have
oh my god,
you have like a s'mores in there or some shit. I think that'd be good, man.
This video's gotten so many weird points. Oh man, no, people are gonna watch this and like, what the hell is going on?
Well, I'm drunk, and you're Phil1UpCollects, and I guess that's the main thing. And I guess
we're just a couple old dudes rambling, like almost 40-year-old dudes just rambling.
And for the 8 to 10 people that have been in here at any given time, like, thanks, man. Like,
yeah, wait, 8 10 people. No, we only had 2 lurking.
we had 2 lurking at first, but yeah, it popped up, and it's varied time from time. But I got to tell you, I don't know what the fuck y'all seeing me, but I'm glad you're here. I'm glad you're here.
Yeah.
So that said,
Zoo's good fun.
Before we go, I always like to give an opportunity for you to ask me some things. Is there anything on your mind you want to ask me? I've put you on the hot seat for fucking almost 2 hours now. What do you got for me, if anything?
Well, I haven't seen any of the information about the new, was it Mario Wonder? I didn't see anything about that. But Jay had told me that you were like really heated over it or something. So I want to know what is going on with that.
Okay,
so break it down to me, break the game, whatever special thing they announced. Let me know.
So do you want my initial reaction, or do you want the reaction after OJ from Player Essence talk me down from the cliff? Which reaction?
I want both. So give me your initial reaction.
My initial reaction, I'm watching it and I'm like, okay, cool. Bowser turns into a fucking castle. That's cool as shit.
What?
Yes, Bowser's a castle now. So Bowser used the power. Yeah, no, exactly. That's what Mario needs. And so Bowser comes in and steals the Wonder Flower, and he turns and merges with the Prince Florian's castle. And now he's this big floating flying castle in the sky, a la Wizard of Oz, or out of Laputa Castle in the sky. So,
yeah. What we're smoking it instead of on some damn LSD tripping drugs? I'm gonna have to watch this trailer.
Oh, yeah, for sure. It gets back to that Mario, which is that literary nonsense. So we started off with a banger. I'm happy. I'm as happy as fuck. And then what ends up happening is it's like this listless fucking host comes on, and he's just like, "Hi guys, how you doing today? Super Mario Wonder." And he starts to go into his spiel. This is the Flower Kingdom. And it looks just like the fucking Mushroom Kingdom. There's a ice place, and there's a water place, and there's a plains place, there's a desert place, there's a sky place. And so already I'm like, okay. So it's a new, we're in a new place, but it looks just like the fucking old place, just like it always does. And it's like, that's cool. Like, this can't be any different. And then it's like, and you can play as Princess Peach, Princess Daisy, Toads, Luigi, Mario, and they all pick whoever you want because they all play the same. And now I'm pissed. Now I'm fucking pissed because they give the 3D games.
And Mario Brothers too, they had different abilities. Exactly. Like Luigi could jump high. Peach could fly.
2D Mario peasants don't get that shit anymore. That only the 3D games get differentiation among characters. So that's what I was mad. At that point, I'm big mad. Now I get a little bit better. So a little bit better is I look at the badge system, and I'm like, hey, that's a new mechanic for Mario. So now at the beginning of each stage, you can equip a badge. And one badge might let you do like a power jump, like you had in Super Mario Brothers 2, where you like crouch jump. Another power might let you do wall jumping. Another badge you might equip, and now you have like a safety bounce where you get one bounce into lava that bounces you up. That's pretty cool.
There puts things in levels that require you to use a certain power up to get to it, though. I bet.
Well, that's the thing. Like, a skilled player should be able to do anything in the level without the badge. For sure.
But you know how modern games are, and they love to just make you have it by like force shit upon you. So
I talked to Jay, and I was pissed because I'm just like, this game needed to be a home run. It half-assed it again. So there's shit I really like, which is more than New Super Mario Brothers U, which was just no ass. That game was no ass. This game is half-ass. But I God damn it, I want a full ass Mario game. Okay.
He wants that big ass Peach in his face.
I want that whole ass.
What's that whole peach ass?
And so, I felt like I wasn't getting it. So I was talking about this on Twitter, and after ranting to Jay and bending his ear for probably 20 minutes, I go on Twitter and do the same old man rant, you know, and OJ comes in and he's like, bro, what the fuck are you talking about? He's like, the badges. He's like, the badge system solves that. Now, if you want to play as somebody with a crouch jump, you got it. If you want to play with Princess Peach who floats with her dress, there's a badge for that. Every character can literally equip a badge, and that handles the differentiation. If you had the badges and you had the character differentiation, it would cancel each other out. And so OJ talked me down off that cliff because that was my biggest problem. Was I'm tired of having these fucking games and not having any character differentiation whatsoever, unless you play their precious fucking 3D games. Like, no, you're a 2D Mario peasant. Fuck you. You don't get differentiation with characters. But OJ talked me down from that and said, well, you're getting it with badges, and it's more customizable than ever. And so I'm okay with that now. The main gripe I have is the art style is a little too close to New Super. And I feel like the world is too similar to the Mushroom King. Now, he also made a good point that the Wonder Seeds, because every level's got a Wonder Seed you can grab, and it turns the level completely like drug-induced topsy-turvy, like an Alice in Wonderland or a Gulliver's Travels type thing or a Wizard of Oz thing. And his point is that also kind of changes up the more Fire World, Ice World, Plains World, Sky World, Desert World type deal. And so we'll see about that. I'm a little less convinced of that argument because we really needed to see some new locales. But overall, I would say I am cautiously optimistic now on Super Mario Brothers Wonder. Basically the same place I was with Tears of the Kingdom, where it's like I've never been more excited. It's been 2 decades since I've been this excited for a Mario game, but I'm waiting for Nintendo to fuck it up. Basically is what I'm waiting to happen. Now, I've had good luck on the Switch. They didn't fuck Dread up. Dread is beautiful. And they didn't fuck Tears of the Kingdom up. Not as bad as I thought they would. So, and Breath of the Wild is literally the Zelda game I've been wanting for decades. So I can't complain on the Zelda front. I can't complain on the Metroid front. If Nintendo takes my ability to old man rant and complain on the Mario front, I'm going to finally have to give it to Nintendo and say that they did me good this gen. They did me good. But I don't know if it's
what about whatever special thing did they announce? Like some kind of console or something?
Now the console is just a red piece of shit. I didn't care for the console. I thought it was half-assed. I thought it was lazy. You've got, for the first time in years, you've got a game based on the surrealness of Alice in Wonderland, and you give us this fucking red brick piece of shit that looks like your Super Mario.
Why didn't they give you a Mario system that symbolizes the wonder, which is like rainbow colors? Like you could have had a translucent dock that had like rainbow colors.
That's what I'm talking about.
Or how about LEDs built into it where you turn it on and it powered on, it just lights up. And it says Mario Wonder on it, and maybe it has the Wonder Flower on it. And you have like Mario and all the characters on the back or something. Like, damn.
Make it that beautiful surreal blue and greens and pinks and yellow, that pastel color palette that they're using for some of the
damn. I really get irritated by these special systems now.
I don't buy
them minimalistic and boring.
Yeah, I don't buy them anyway.
You saw my video making fun of the whole Spider-Man thing. It's literally the controller. It's literally like 80% the standard black PS5 controller with a little bit of red and some white buttons. That's it.
Hey, but here's the thing, Nintendo drones and Sony ponies will buy anything, and they know.
Yeah,
they're going to sell out of.
Probably the most impressive controller I've seen comes from third parties. Like, did you see that Sonic the Hedgehog controller and headset? I was like retweeting. It has a freaking Sonic the Hedgehog action figure inside it, and inside the plastic of the handle.
I saw that.
And it freaking has LEDs. It lights up, and it looks like the level of the game. And each one of the characters has their own controller with their own little figure in it and a unique level. And then the headset also has LEDs with Sonic inside. And I'm like, dude, this is so damn cool. I would freaking buy these, and I don't even have a Switch I could use them on. It's just so damn cool. Like, I want more stuff like that. Like, why isn't that in a special edition console? Because that is cool.
No, but that is super cool.
You have a third-party company that doesn't have anywhere near the money that Nintendo, Sony, and Microsoft has, but they're making cooler shit than Nintendo, Microsoft, and Sony does. I don't understand.
It's a fair point. Absolutely fair point. So, all righty. Well, we're almost 2 hours into this deal. So, before we head off, what are you drinking, Phil? Like I said, I told you what I was drinking. What are you getting sloshed on?
I drink the Dr. Pepper, and now I'm sipping on water.
Y'all, so far, okay. So I've had. Let it be known that the show now, chat. The show is called Liquored Up and Live. I've had 3 guests so far. Mad Belmont had a beer with me. OJ had water with me, and now Phil's drinking Dr. Pepper. So I'm gonna have to change the name of the show to Half Liquored and Live. It seems like, but I don't
know. Mongan liquored.
Yeah, Mongan liquor, Mongan drunk. Mongan.
Old man rambles.
Yeah,
drunken man rambles. That's what you can call it. Drunken man rambles.
Yeah, drunken man rambles at clouds with Phil1Up. I guess that's it. Last question I have for you, Phil. Did you have fun?
Fun. I didn't expect to be 2 hours, but it was awesome. These will
go as long as or as short as they have to. No set time period. Well, natural cycle conversation. Some of them go longer than others. But boy, we can both fucking talk for sure. I only had beer because I had no liquor. Well, you had beer. So again, you are the only guest, Belmont, who made this a full Liquored Up Live. So I think that Rad Bash is going to solve that, because I think we're drinking rum tomorrow night. I think we're going to be on.
Oh, wow.
And I think I'm going to break out the El Dorado 15 year for Red Bash, and we'll see what kind of rum he's into. For sure. But that'll be tentatively for tomorrow.
You better get ready, because Rad Bash, me and him, I was trying to record a video with him. We went 3 hours and Discord died on him. And I guess because it couldn't exceed it, and it was like a 6 gigabyte video. So maybe he should have done a live so he didn't get cut off or something. I don't know.
Well, yeah.
You'll talking to him.
Well, and I say that tentatively. I shouldn't have done that because shit changes. He might be busy. I don't know. But I think he's going to come on. I think we're going to drink some rum tomorrow night. But again, folks, that's tentative. I don't know. That's really going to depend on Red Bash and if his schedule stays the same. I'm a real spontaneous kind of guy. All this shit is late at night when girlfriend's gone to bed, so I can do this anytime. In terms of the late night stuff, as long as it's after hours. So, oh no, Red Bash in the chase says, yeah, I got you, bro. Rum all the way. So we're gonna have another full Liquored Up and Live. Sounds like tomorrow night, and I'll have to remember that next time OJ and next time Phil1Up comes on, we'll have some Kool-Aid for him.
Oh, man.
All righty. Well, I'm glad you had fun, man. I think we're going to call it here. Thanks for coming on. We'll have you on again sometime, I'm sure. And guys, game on. Even if you never move forward on a video game console, remember that there are enough games out there to last you the rest of your lives that are already out physically ready to play. There's always something to find to play. So you don't necessarily have to move on, and I will for sure be there. Awesome. All righty. So I guess we're gonna do this again tomorrow night. But in the meantime, Phil, have a great rest of your night, buddy, and make sure you go try some good steakhouses where you're at. You're in the mecca of steak. You gotta. I hope you're eating a good diet of red meat. I hope you're eating a diet that would make a vegetarian or a vegan blush.
Maybe me and Rad Bash can team up and go to a steakhouse somewhere.
That'd be a video. I'd watch it. I'd fucking watch you guys devour a fucking steakhouse. All right. Well, we're gonna take care, guys. Take it easy, Phil. You have a great rest of your night. I'm gonna go ahead and end the. We're gonna end this live once I figure out how to do that, and then if you want to stay on, we can talk a little bit. But live ends now, so get out of here, chat. Thanks for coming. Love you guys.
Bye, y'all. Bye.